Welcome back. It's Friday and weekend. Let's start reading before I get too tired again. But it's only 10 a.m. So I'll just follow my list. Follow my list. Then I will make some video in my language, Danish. After reading, it was supposed to be in English. I should have record in English too, but I don't have the energy to do that. So now I need to do it like this, because it's better than nothing. I still read it and make a video in Danish, but it was supposed to be English. To check my cell phone. Yes, so let's reading.
Lockheed YF-12. The Lockheed YF-12 was an American Mach 3 Plus capable, high-altitude interceptor prototype, developed and manufactured by American aerospace company Lockheed Corporation. The interceptor was developed during the late 1950s and early 1960s as a potential replacement for the F-106 Delta Dart interceptor for the United States Air Force, USAF. The YF-12 was a twin-seat version of the then-secret single-seat Lockheed A-12 reconnaissance aircraft operated by the Central Intelligence Agency, CIA. Unlike the A-12, it was furnished with the Hughes forward/ASG-18 fire control radar and could be armed with AIM-47 Falcon, GAR-9, air-to-air missiles. Its maiden flight was on the 7th of August, 1963. Its existence was publicly revealed by President Lyndon B. Johnson on the 24th of February, 1964. This move was to provide plausible deniability for the CIA-operated A-12 fleet, which closely resembled the prototype YF-12. During the 1960s, the YF-12 underwent flight evaluations by the USAF, but funding to put it into operational use was not forthcoming, partly due to the pressing demands of the Vietnam War and other military priorities. It set and held speed and altitude world records of over 2,000 miles per hour, 3,200 kilometers per hour, and over 80,000 feet, 24,000 m, later surpassed by the closely related SR-71 Blackbird, and is the world's largest, heaviest and fastest crewed interceptor. Following its retirement by the USAF, it served as a research aircraft for NASA for a time, which used it to develop several significant improvements in control for future supersonic aircraft. Design and development, edit. In the late 1950s, the United States Air Force, USAF, sought a replacement for its F-106 Delta Dart interceptor. As part of the Long-Range Interceptor Experimental, LRIX, program, the North American XF-108 Rapier, an interceptor with Mach 3 speed, was selected. However, the F-108 program was cancelled by the Department of Defense in September 1959. During this time, Lockheed's Skunk Works was developing the A-12 reconnaissance aircraft for the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, under the Oxguard program. Kelly Johnson, the head of Skunk Works, proposed to build a version of the A-12 named AF-12 by the company. The USAF ordered 3 AF-12s in mid-1960. The AF-12s took the 7th through 9th slots on the A-12 assembly line. These were designated as YF-12 interceptors. The main changes involved modifying the A-12's nose by cutting back the chines to accommodate the huge Hughes-ASG-18 fire control radar originally developed for the XF-108 with 2 infrared search and track sensors embedded in the chine leading edge, and the addition of the second cockpit for a crew member to operate the fire control radar for the air-to-air missile system. The modifications changed the aircraft's aerodynamics enough to require ventral fins to be mounted under the fuselage and engine nacelles to maintain stability. 3 of the 4 bays previously used to house the A-12's reconnaissance equipment were converted to carry Hughes AIM-47 Falcon, GAR-9, missiles. 1 bay was used for fire control equipment. The first YF-12 flew on the 7th of August, 1963. President Lyndon B. Johnson announced the existence of the aircraft on the 24th of February, 1964. The YF-12 was announced in part to continue hiding the A-12, its still secret ancestor. Any sightings of CIA/Air Force A-12s based at Area 51 in Nevada could be attributed to the well-publicized Air Force YF-12s based at Edwards Air Force Base in California. The first public showing of the aircraft was on the 30th of September, 1964 at Edwards. On the 14th of May, 1965, the Air Force placed a production order for 93 F-12Bs for its Air Defense Command, ADC. However, Secretary of Defense Robert McNamara would not release the funding for 3 consecutive years due to Vietnam War costs. Updated intelligence placed a lower priority on defense of the continental U.S., so the F-12B was deemed no longer needed. Then in January 1968, the F-12B program was officially ended. Operational history, edit. Air Force testing, edit. During flight tests the YF-12 has set a speed record of 2,070.101 miles per hour, 3,331.505 kilometers per hour, and altitude record of 80,257.86 feet, 24,462.60 m, both on the 1st of May 1965, and demonstrated promising results with its unique weapon system. 6 successful firings of the AIM-47 missiles were completed, and a 7th failed due to a gyroscope failure on one of the missiles. The last one was launched from the YF-12 at Mach 3.2 at an altitude of 74,000 feet, 23,000 m, to a JQB-47E target drone 500 feet, 150 m, off the ground. The missile did not have a warhead but still managed to hit the B-47 directly and take a 4 feet, 120 centimeters, section off its tail. The Air Force considered it a success and ordered 96 aircraft and had an initial budget of $90 million to further testing, but this was withheld by Secretary of Defense McNamara, who on the 23rd of November, 1967 put it towards the much less successful F-106X program that nearly failed. The successful AIM-47 Falcon missile was increased in size and performance and became the AIM-54 Phoenix missile for the F-14 Tomcat. The AIM-ASG-18 radar was upgraded to become the AIM-AWG-9 and APG-71, which added the ability to track multiple targets. One of the Air Force test pilots, Jim Irwin, would go on to become a NASA astronaut and walk on the Moon. The program was abandoned following the cancellation of the production F-12B, but the YF-12s continued flying for many years with the USAF and with NASA as research aircraft. NASA testing, edit. The initial phase of the test program included objectives aimed at answering some questions about implementation of the B-1. Air Force objectives included exploration of its use in a tactical environment, and how Airborne Early Warning and Control, AWACS, would control supersonic aircraft. The Air Force portion was budgeted at $4 million. The NASA tests would answer questions such as how engine inlet performance affected airframe and propulsion interaction, boundary layer noise, heat transfer under high Mach conditions, and altitude hold at supersonic speeds. The NASA budget for the 2.5-year program was $14 million, $37.4 million in 2023. The YF-12 and SR-71 originally suffered from severe control issues that affected both the engines and the physical control of the aircraft. Wind testing at NASA Dryden and YF-12 research flights developed computer systems that nearly completely solved the performance issues. Testing revealed vortices from the nose chines interfering with intake air, which led to the development of a computer control system for the engine air bypasses. A computer system to reduce unstarts was also developed, which greatly improved stability. They also developed a flight engineering computer program called Central Airborne Performance Analyzer, CAPA, that relayed engine data to the pilots and informed them of any faults or issues with performance and indicated the severity of malfunctions. Another system called Cooperative Airframe Propulsion Control System, CAPS, greatly improved the control of supersonic aircraft in flight. At such high speeds, even minor changes in direction caused the aircraft to change position by thousands of feet, and often had severe temperature and pressure changes. CAPS reduced these deviations by a factor of 10. The overall improvements increased range of the SR-71 by 7%. Of the three YF-12s, AFSA number 60 to 6934 was damaged beyond repair by fire at Edwards AFB during a landing mishap on the 14th of August, 1966. Its rear half was salvaged and combined with the front half of a Lockheed static test airframe to create the only SR-71C. YF-12 AFSA number 60 to 6936 was lost on the 24th of June, 1971 due to an in-flight fire caused by a failed fuel line. Both pilots ejected safely just north of Edwards AFB. YF-12 AFSA number 60 to 6935 is the only surviving YF-12. It was recalled from storage in 1969 for a joint USAF/NASA investigation of supersonic cruise technology, and then flown to the National Museum of the United States Air Force at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base near Dayton, Ohio on the 17th of November, 1979. A fourth YF-12 aircraft, the YF-12C, was actually the second SR-71 AFSA number 617951. This SR-71 was redesignated as a YF-12C and given the fictitious Air Force serial number 60 to 6937 from an A-12 to maintain SR-71 secrecy. The aircraft was loaned to NASA for propulsion testing after the loss of YF-12 AFSA number 66936 in 1971. The YF-12C was operated by NASA until September 1978, when it was returned to the Air Force. The YF-12 had a real field sonic boom over pressure value between 33.5 and 52.7 N/m, 0.7 to 1.1 pound/feet, below 48 was considered low. Variants, edit. YF-12 pre-production version. 3 were built. F-12B production version of the YF-12 with various improvements such as an increased combat radius from 1,200 to 1,350 nautical miles and an improved fire control system with increased bomber detection range from 100 to 125 miles, cancelled before production could begin. YF-12C. Fictitious designation for an SR-71 provided to NASA for flight testing. The YF-12 designation was used to keep SR-71 information out of the public domain. From 1971 to 1978, 61 to 7,951 was temporarily loaned to NASA from the Air Force as YF-12C-06937. Operators. Edit. United States. 1 United States Air Force. 2 NASA. Accidents and incidents. Edit. The 24th of July 1971 YF-12 60 to 6936, Article 1003, was lost in an accident near Edwards Air Force Base, California, United States. Aircraft on display. Edit. YF-12. 1 YF-12, AFSO. Number 60 to 6935, Article 1002, at the National Museum of the U.S. Air Force, Wright-Patterson AFB, Dayton, Ohio. This aircraft has small patches in its skin, on the starboard side below the cockpit. The patches cover holes caused by the spurs of a crewman who had to evacuate the plane after an emergency landing. 2 SR-71C, AFSA. Number 61 to 7981, portion of the former YF-12 AFSA. Number 60 to 6934, is on display at the Hill Aerospace Museum, Hill AFB, Utah. Specifications, YF-12, edit. Data from Lockheed's SR-71 Blackbird family. General characteristics. 1 crew, 2, pilot and fire control officer, FCO. 2 length, 101 feet 8 in, 30.97 m. 3 wingspan, 55 feet 7 in, 16.95 m. 4 height, 18 feet 6 in, 5.64 m. 5 wing area, 1,795 square feet, 167 m. 6 aspect ratio, 1.7. 7 empty weight, 60,730 pound, 27,604 kilograms. 8 gross weight, 124,000 pound, 56,200 kilograms. 9 max takeoff weight, 140,000 pound, 63,504 kilograms. 10 power plant, 2 Pratt & Whitney J58, JTD11D20, afterburning turbojet with compressor bleed bypass, 20,500 lbf, 91 kN, thrust each dry, 31,500 lbf, 140 kN, with afterburner. Performance. 1 maximum speed, 2,275 miles per hour, 3,661 kilometers per hour, 1,977 kN, at 80,000 feet, 24,000 m. 2 maximum speed, Mach 3.35. 3 combat range, 3,000 mi, 4,800 kilometers, 2,600 mi. 4 service ceiling, 90,000 feet, 27,400 m. 5 rate of climb, 11,820 foot forward/min, 60 m forward/s. 6 thrust forward/weight, 0.44. Armament. 1 missiles, 3 Hughes AIM-47 air-to-air missiles located internally in fuselage bays. Avionics. 1 Hughes AFG-18 look-down/shoot down fire control radar. See also, edit. Related development. 1 Lockheed YF-12. 2 M21 drone carrier. 3 Lockheed SR-71 Blackbird. Related lists. 1 List of military aircraft of the United States. 2 List of Lockheed aircraft. 3 List of fighter aircraft. References, edit.